Welcome back to Central Valley Talk. This show is artists and authors. We do this every single Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday now. 3 days a week. Our show's gone to 3 days a week. And we talk to artists, musicians, authors, people in entertainment. And by the way, we have shows all day. Later today will be the real estate show, the business show, the senior citizen show. Things like that are coming up later. Now, we've been talking to guests for a while on how we survived COVID. The way Central Valley Talk survived COVID. We've been in business since 2008 as we finally were forced to learn Zoom and started doing Zoom. We have our next guest is Roddy Jackson. He's a pioneer of rock and roll. I'm going to ask him a million questions about that. But you survived COVID. You're still here.
I'm still here.
If the disease didn't kill you, the crushing thing of the economy will, because you were active, you were touring, you were teaching, you did all that, all of a sudden, nothing.
Yeah, like overnight.
It
all stopped.
Everything's off.
Everything.
We do interviews here, and all of a sudden we couldn't do interviews. So are we out of business? But we learned Zoom. You did too then.
Yes.
You had a lot of students, and all of a sudden they're gone because you can't teach them. And you were promoting. We're going to talk about your music. This guy's a legend, by the way, in rock and roll. I'm calling him. He's not saying I can call him that. He is a legend in rock and roll. And your tour's gone, your students are gone, and so now we find a new way to survive.
Right. And thanks to Zoom, thanks to the technology, a technical wizard friend of mine did Zoom meetings with me, taught me how to do that, and then taught me how to use it to give the lessons. So I started so I started giving lessons online, and I wound up really liking it, and my students really like it. And one of the things I really liked about it didn't matter where people lived. I'd have a student who was with me since elementary school. Now they're going off to college, they're going to move, and we have to stop, and we didn't want to. We wanted to keep going. Now we keep going. I've got one guy moved to Michigan to go to college, another guy moved to Monterey. We're still doing the lessons. I love it.
I told you a little bit, I was a classical guitarist. I had people would travel from Arizona. One guy would come from Alaska for his lessons. I mean, we didn't even imagine even the internet back in those days. But you've seen a lot then, a lot of changes. Internet and Zoom, and we're paying on Cash App and Venmo and stuff now. It's just great. Let's go. Can we do a little history? You live in Merced.
Yes.
Is that where you're from?
Yes. As a matter of fact, I was born in Fresno.
I'll be darned.
And then I moved with my parents to Merced when I was 1 year old, and I was raised there.
And you learned instruments. You learned keyboard.
Yeah, the first one I learned was piano.
Good.
And got classical piano training and all that stuff, but I was interested in other instruments. And
you play sax, a couple saxes?
Yeah, I play tenor sax and alto sax. As a matter of fact, I also play baritone sax and soprano sax, but the tenor sax is my main one, and also alto sax. And I learned those, in those days, you could take private lessons in school as a class for credit.
Now, this is in the 50s you're learning?
This is in the 50s.
Yeah. And I was born in the 50s, too, so I can relate to that. Now,
you
then you traveled, you toured. Who'd you tour with?
Well, back in the old days there, back in the 50s and 60s, I should mention this. I got a recording contract in L.A. with Specialty Records, Little Richard's label and everything. He was my idol. He's the one who got me singing. But anyway, and I worked with Sonny Bono there of Sonny and Cher fame.
Sure.
He was the manager of the artists and recordings.
Oh, that's
he was
right.
the producer.
Before they even got going.
Yeah, before the woman he was with then wasn't Cher.
There's this great old picture of you from probably looks like the 50s maybe, and that's you.
That was in the 50s. Yeah.
And
in the band, the Blue Notes.
The Blue Notes, okay.
Later known as the Merced Blue Notes, because there was another Blue Notes out of Fresno.
That's Roddy Jackson right there. How old were you there?
I was 14 years old.
14 years old.
Yep, when we started that band.
Now, you got to tour quite a bit. Where did you go?
Well, with the Blue Notes back then, we traveled all over the Central Valley playing for dances.
And you're the formation. You're at the beginning of rock and roll, really.
That's what they tell me. The historians tell me. I remember the way it happened with me. The first one I heard was Bill Haley and the Comets. I said, what kind of music is that? I like that. And then Fats Domino, Ain't That a Shame? Yeah. And then, oh, my God. And so I says, I like that. I want to do that kind of music. And so I started doing it. And when I heard Little Richard, I loved his singing so much, I started trying to sing like Little Richard.
That to me was really rock and roll. Singing loud and the way he played the piano. How about Jerry Lee Lewis?
Yeah. Now, Jerry Lee Lewis came a little bit later.
Later, okay, I see.
And I've been accused of imitating him, and I got to laugh because I was playing that style before I ever even heard of him. It's just boogie woogie. It's boogie woogie. Yeah.
Now, I heard this, that you kind of had a resurgence or a rediscovery from people in Europe.
Yes.
They were looking for you, and they tracked you down.
In the 1970s, they were having dances and radio shows, and some of my recordings were being played a lot over there, and I had no idea. And they couldn't find me. And then they finally found me in about 2007.
Okay.
And I wound up going over there to Europe to, what was that? 2003.
2003.
Oh, thank you.
We're older
She's
than
the
we
one
thought,
that has
Roddy.
the memory.
2003.
Yeah, but anyway.
That's almost
yeah.
20 years ago. You realize that?
Yeah. And so next thing you know, I'm playing festivals and clubs in Europe and in the United States, doing the kind of music I did back then. Yeah, which was just great. And then I recorded an album in Berlin about 3 years ago.
I don't know if we could get this one again.
You already showed that one.
No, we showed this one when you were a 14-year-old.
Yeah, and this one I was a few years older.
A couple years older.
Yeah,
Look at that.
And last year, it was released. And we were going to do this big media blitz thing.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Guess what happened?
World ended.
COVID happened,
COVID
and I was going to go on tour and promote the album and all this stuff, and all of a sudden, no, you can't do that.
Yeah.
And
well, what I'm excited about, I want to ask you about this a little bit. You had a bunch of students before COVID.
Yes.
But now after COVID, with the Zoom, people from all over the world could take lessons.
Yes.
There's no limits anymore.
That's what I love about it. Yeah, I love that. It doesn't matter where you live. I can give you lessons.
Now, would you be teaching them piano, sax, singing, performance style?
Yeah, however they want it. It's like this. I'm very versatile. I love a lot of genres of music. I teach them to all, even if it's one I'm not familiar with. If I can listen to it, I can figure it out, and I can help them get there. So you take that. We got piano and keyboard instruments, and then I also teach all the band's instruments, the school band instruments.
Okay.
Saxophone, flute, clarinet, trumpet, trombone, baritone, tuba, and drums and percussion. And I can teach percussion like for a band or orchestra, or drum set. If you want to play rock, if you want to play jazz, if you want to play classical, country, blues, whatever kind of music you want to play. I love all genres of music, and I can help you get wherever you want to go. First, you got to do what I tell you, put this finger here, put your mouth this way. And then after a while, though, after we give you the fundamentals, then you start deciding what direction you want to go, and I'll help you get there. I'll take you there. So also, I can teach, like, for instance, if you're in a school band, if you're a school band student, which I was for years and years, that's one of my specialties. I can really help you with that. I make this promise to every student that's a school band student. You follow my instructions, I guarantee you will excel. You'll be ahead of your class. And that's what happens.
Well, I want to say something, because as a musician and as a parent of musicians, all my kids grew up and moved to New York City as musicians. They all live there now. But what I did was, they're in band, I got them a teacher, like you.
There you go.
If your kids are in band, get them a teacher. Because a band teacher can't do it. He's got 20, 30, 50 kids. He can't go around and say, hold your lips, your embouchure, hold it a little more like this.
No, that's for private, to one-on-one. That's how. See, I taught band in school for a while, about 20 years. I was teaching music and theater in the public schools. And I didn't have the time to help them one-on-one like a private teacher can. It's the combination. They also need to be in a group playing with other musicians. But, by the way, I've had people that are professionals playing in a professional music group, and they want to improve their performance, and I've been able to help them with that. And any of the instruments I'm talking about, I'm able to do that. If you want to be a soloist, if you want to, some people just want to play in the group, so I help them to play well in a group. Some people want to play solo, so I'll work with them so they can be a soloist. And then if they play a horn or something that needs accompaniment, I'll accompany them on the piano. Of course, the ones that live in New York City or Hong Kong, we might have to do that a different way. But I will help you be a soloist. I will accompany you, you know. And so there's just so many ways to go, so many options. I can help people with want to learn improvisation. They want to play jazz or rock improvisation, whatever. I can help with that. I got a real wide range of musical services and things that I can. Oh yeah, if you've written music and you want music written of it, you made it up by ear or whatever. I also do that. I have a program. I can notate, write down the notes of the music, and it'll be good enough. You could send it to be copyrighted, and so I do a lot of things. You could help them
get it copyrighted, even, because
yes, I can.
Don't know how to do that,
right? And I do that because I write. I'm a composer and I'm a songwriter, so I do that all the time. So I can help them to do that. So let me put it this way: if you're involved in music and you want help, contact me. And if there's any way I can help you, and most likely I can, I will. And if I can't, I can refer you to somebody who can.
Perfect. Now, we're out of time, but I want to go over this. Your email, I think, is on the screen. Something at Gmail? I can't see it.
Roddy Jackson, my name.
That's easy.
One word, Roddy Jackson at Gmail.
Now, there's something coming up on YouTube. Tell us about that.
Yes, and it's already on there, and it's Roddy Jackson Student Concert. If you go to YouTube and you search that, you'll see it. And it is a virtual concert of my students. I used to have them in person with a live audience. Well, I couldn't do that anymore. I said, okay, let's make you guys TV stars.
There you go.
So we did this virtual concert, and it's posted on YouTube. And if you want to check out my and my students' work, what we do, this will give you a good indication as to the quality of the teaching and these students. I'm so proud of them.
By the way, I'm going to put this video on YouTube and Facebook and all these places. I'll find the link. I'll put it there so they can just click and go to that concert.
Oh, that'd be great.
I'll do that. And by the way, Roddy's video will be on our YouTube channel. We're almost to 1 million views. Maybe Roddy will push us over the top. Wouldn't that be a great historical thing?
Yeah.
Right. Last thought, anything else you want to tell our viewers?
This is what I'm focusing on right now. I want to build up my student, and it is growing, and I'd like for it to grow some more, and because I really love it. I get very fulfilling. And the other thing is, though, I am going to start performing again. I'm going to be going back out there on tour. The rock musician and singer here is going to be back. And maybe I could come back and talk about that when I'm ready. When I'm ready to launch that, because when I come out, I'm coming out the gate, ready to go. I am doing a one-man show. I have started performing in Merced at a club. It's called Vinyos Wine Lounge, Vinhos. I do a one-man show there. I have a piano, keyboard, and a microphone.
Where is this now? Vinhouse?
Vinyos. It's Portuguese.
Okay.
V as in Violet, INHOS. It's on Main Street in Merced.
Right. Can't miss it. Can't miss it.
Your GPS knows where it is.
All right, Roddy. We want you to come back. I'd love to talk to you for hours. But I got another guest waiting in the wings. Roddy Jackson's our guest. Just go find him on YouTube. He's on there. I'm going to post his video. Go there and check out his video. It will lead you to a student. Take lessons from Roddy. I'm Mike Briggs. We'll be back with another author right after this message.